Hi, this is Kate from Izzalicious Designs, and today we're going to make the next fairy in our series, which is going to be Rosetta. Now, for Rosetta, I'm using a red colour for her hair. This is actually the Lucky Loom red, which is a little bit less fire engine-y red than the Rainbow Loom. I'm using the well, I don't even know what this is. It's the two-tone. It's got the gold and the pink colour to it from Rainbow Loom. I'm not sure if it's the sweets or one of those kind. Anyway, the new bands that they have. So I'm using that. I'm using Skin Tone. I'm using Sparkly Glitter White, and that's it. So I do have a tutorial on how to do the wings. So please, if you haven't already done so, go and make a pair of wings and tip them in the colour that you want to use for her dress. As I said, I'm using this Rainbow Loom two-tone with the gold and the pink on the inside for her dress and also for the tips. And I'm going to also ask, if you want to be making if you want her to stand up, you'll need to look at the tutorial on how to make a standing skirt with the frills on the bottom. This one is Silver Mists, but we will be doing one for Rosetta as well. Okay, so please in advance go and get yourself prepared. Now I'm using Crafty Ladybug's technique for hair at the back of the head, and I'm going to have my loom in the offset configuration. Column 1 and 3 are going to be lower than column 2. The arrow is facing towards you. If you don't have an arrow, it's the open part of the peg that's facing towards you. We're going to be double banding, which means you take 2 bands and you place them on the pegs together as if they were a single band. This gives your figure a more robust, stronger, firmer end to it. You know, it's not as flimsy and flopsy bunny all over the place. So let's lay some bands for her hair. I'm using, as I said, the red from Lucky Loom. I think it's good for redheads. And as I said, I'm doing Crafty Ladybug's technique. Please check out her channel. She does some really lovely work. Now Rosetta does have long hair. It's sort of captured at the back, at the nape of her neck. I'm going to take a single and place it across these 3 pegs here as a crossover band. I'm going to do the same here, but first I'm going to make some hair for her, and I'm going to take a single band and wrap it once and twice around my hook. Now her hair is kind of wavy, so I'm only going to single band it. When I do straight hair, I tend to use double bands, and for sort of wavy hair I use a single band because I feel they go a little bit out of control. So that's 3. I did an end cap, which was taking a single band and wrapping it around my hook twice, and now all I'm doing is putting a single band on the end of my hook and sliding the band before it that's on my hook onto that. Okay, and we'll do this a couple of times so that she looks like she's got long and wavy hair. That's probably long enough. So how many have we got? We've got our end cap. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're going to lift one side up like that and slide it on. We're going to do 3 more so that we've got 2 on each side. So there's your end cap, wrap it once and twice, and you're going to slide that onto a single and a single. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So that's our other side for her hair. Lift that up and slide on. So we'll do the same for the other side. Now that was doing it on the hook. If you're doing it on your loom, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So place your bands on your loom, and you're only single banding. So you can do either on your hook or on your loom, it doesn't really matter. We'll do these two on the loom, and for this one we need to be one above because it's staggered. Get the right colour, Kate. Take a single band, wrap it around your hook twice. This is going to be the end cap. So when we do it on the hook, we start with the end cap. When we do it on the loom, we finish with the end cap. Alright, dig down past that end cap and we loop this up just like a normal little single chain. Take them off your loom, and that is exactly what we just did before on our hook. Okay, so we're going to turn our loom over, put your finger there so these bands don't fly off, place your strands of hair on and do that. Now let's take a single and stretch it across these 3 pegs as our crossover. Okay, make sure this is tied down. We're going to put a skin tone here as an end cap, so a single, wrap it once and twice and just pop that on the end here. That's going to be the end cap. Let's loop this up. So we loop half the hair up, go down past that skin tone and grab the 2 red bands and loop up. Now we need to get the 2 top red bands. I've got 1. So let's find the other. There's the second one, and loop that to the side. Let's loop the other 2 to the side here. Pull the hair out the way. Loop these 2 up the middle. We'll do 1 more up the middle, and we'll do 1 on the side. Make sure the hair's out the way so you're just getting those bottom 2 bands, okay? And this is all that we're going to loop up on the back of the head right now. And the reason being is we're going to tie the face in with it. So when we loop up the rest of the body, the face will loom up with it. Let's put some skin tone bands on. And we are double banding. We're going to leave these first 3 alone and start down here, sort of in the middle of her face, because she has hair at the top of her head. If we were doing somebody that didn't have hair at the top of the head, you would go and start up there. So let's lay these bands. We're going to take a single and lay it across here as a crossover band. I'm going to put 2 here as a neck. Now for the eyes, I'm taking a single skin tone. I'm going to twist it once, twice and 3 times and place it across the eyes like that. That's to stop the eyes from sinking to the back of the head. Now I use these 7mm by 4mm mini pony beads. You can get them from Amazon, you can get them from most good craft shops. Okay, if you don't have beads, you can use bands. It really doesn't matter. 1 band wrapped around your hook once, twice, 3 times and 4 times is the same as 1 bead, and you would slide that onto your skin tone band. Okay, so take your 2 beads or your 2 bands, slide them onto your skin tone band. You might need to use a metal threader or a piece of floss, or if you have a hook small enough, hook works great too. Place them either side of the face like that and make sure that the eyes are either side. Take your hook and grab the top part of the band and lift it above this peg. Okay, that now acts as a crossover band. Alright, let's get started. On her shoulders she is skin tone. Oh, before I do that, that's a very odd band as well. There we go. Before I do that, a very important piece that we mustn't miss. You have these two sets of bands here. You have the two neck bands and you have this as your end cap. You need to put your hook through the end cap and lift it up and over on top of those two skin tone bands. That is a very important step. Alright, back to her shoulders. Two. Okay, I'm getting rid of that band. It looks really odd. Go away. And two. Now she actually has a halter neck as well, kind of the same as Silver Mist. So I'm going to put two of the skin tone here, but then for her little dress, for the halter neck, I'm going to put two bands here, like that. Okay. Use these for her little dress. Now, we normally do 4 for a torso. We're coming down a little bit so that she's got her little skirt. So I'm going to come down 1 extra, and she wears a little short skirt. But we're doing her in a tutu. So what I'm going to do, let's see. Because we're doing her in a tutu, I'm not going to make that come down lower. What I'm going to do is make it so she's wearing a bodysuit. So we'll put an extra one here, okay, and then we will put her legs on. So 1 pair of skin tone, 2 pair of skin tone, like that. Now we will take 2 and stretch from the center to the right, 2 from the center to the left, and we'll put an end cap here, like that. Okay, so for her arms, take a single skin tone, wrap it once and twice, and we will slide onto 5 pair of skin tone. So there's our first pair, our second pair, our third pair, fourth pair, and 5th pair, and that sits here on her shoulder. Do the same for the other side. A single band, wrap it once and twice. Now 5 pair. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, I'm going to do her shoes in a different colour than the gold and pink. I'm going to do the red. So take 2 bands, wrap around your hook once and twice, and slide onto 2 bands. I try and lift it when I slide these on so they don't get too snarly. Take another 2, wrap once and twice, and you're going to move these 2 bands over the top so that they're sitting in between like that. Then take 2 skin tone. I slide the first 2 bands on, then the wrapped bands, and again I try and lift them over, and then the last 2, reclaim the end of your bands, and we'll pop that on the end of her leg here. Let's do the same for the other side. 2 bands, wrap once and twice, slide onto 2 bands, 2 bands, wrap once, whoops, and twice, move this side over so that it's captured in the middle like that, and then we're using 2 skin tone if I can get them, and sliding this over. I do the first 2 bands, then I'm going to do the slid over bands, and then the other 2, and pop that on her leg. Okay, so we also need to do crossover bands here, so let's do that. I'm going to take a single and stretch it between here and here. I'm going to take a single and stretch it between here and here. These 2 in the middle are going to be her waist, and I want that to be drawn in. So I'm going to take a single, I'm going to figure 8 it. Now these are silicone, so they're difficult to stretch. If you're not using silicone, stretch it, figure 8, loop it on itself, and then you can stretch it across the 3 pegs. If you can't stretch it with your fingers, or you're scared your fingers are going to get ripped up, stretch it with your hook. So put it on 2 and stretch it across that 3rd one with your hook. So put it on 2 and stretch across. Okay, so we've got eyes, we have hair, arms, we've got our crossover bands, and we've got our legs. Let's loop up. Pull the foot down and loop up that first part of her leg. Loop up to where we start the groin area. Now dig down past the end cap and grab the 2 top bands, and we're looping those. These ones go to the left, depending on which order you put yours on. These ones go to the right, and the middle is going to just go up the middle. It is tight where you have the bands that are looped over themselves, okay? So be aware of that. Okay, now we're going to dig down, grab the 2 skin tone for the arms and the 2 skin tone for the arms, and then we'll do the shoulders, and then we do the chest to the neck. That one has to be on top because we want it to look like a halter neck with that bit at the top. Alright, we're going to dig down and find the 2 skin tone and loop up. And then we're going for the 2 skin tone at the top and loop to one side. The next 2, well, I've got 1, let's find the other one. That one goes up the center. That one goes up the center. Where's my other one that goes to the side? I know it's here. Aha. Where does this one go? Okay, so I'm going to step back a bit. I've obviously gone a bit skew-if. Put these back. That stays there. And I'm going to put this one back. It's really important that you get the right bands going to the right area. If in doubt, get your hook down the middle and twist it around the outside of the peg, and it sort of makes these bands find their right spot. So dig down, and again, if in doubt, pull them out to one side, and then as you dig down you can see, it's these 2. Grab them and loop them. Same here. Now here you've got to be careful that you're not grabbing the bands that are part of the hair, where we link the hair, the back of the hair. It's an end cap, so you've got to be careful of that. Link up the face bands. Again, you're just doing the skin tone, you're not doing the red here, just those 2 skin tone. Same this side. And now we dig down and find those 2 red hairbands and push those crossover bands back with the back of your hook. 1 to the side, 2 to the side, and up through the middle, like that. Now let's get 2 red tie-off bands. Poke your hook down the centre and out to the side, making sure you've got all of those bands on your hook. Put your 2 tie-off bands on your hook, twist it so the back side of the hook is going against those bands and not the front, so you don't snag anything. Reclaim the end and take the 2 closest to you up, over and off, and pull tight. I like to use the back of a hook to help me ease things off my loom. Especially where the bands are tight. Which they are when you've looped them on themselves. Okay, once you get to an area where you can just pull her off. There we go. So she's pull her arms out and down, out and down. Then they don't sort of stand out like a, well, they still stand out, but they're not quite like a scarecrow. Stretch her out a bit. Stretch her face out a bit. Okay, now we are going to attach her wings. Like I said, if you've already made those, that's fantastic. You're going to make sure that the longest part of the wing is at the top. So these only have 3 loops, these have 4, so they go at the top. What you're needing to do is, if you look under here, you'll see there's these 2 bands here and there's 2 bands here. We're going to go under one set of those 2 bands. Make sure your wings are the right way. Grab 1 tie-off band, okay, and pull it through those 2 bands, those 2 loops there. So grab 1. Oh, I'm using a hook that has no hook, which is a bit silly. There we go, and pull it through. It doesn't matter which one. What you're going to do now is splay that open and pop the wing through it. Let's do the same on the other side. You're going to find those other 2 bands. In our case, they're going to be the pinky gold ones, because we did a halter neck. Grab the other band, the other tie-off band, pull it through. There we go. Splay it open and wrap it over the wing like that. So you have your wings on her back. Now, Rosetta has hair that's sort of all bunched together. So what I'm going to do is angle her wings properly. Get here, you. I'm going to take her hair at the bottom here. All of it, all 4 pieces of it. And I would quite like to put, just like we did with Silver Mist, a red band through all of these loops. Okay, so I'm going to lift her up her wing and find a spot under, like this, just to grab 2 loops, and then I'm going to do the same on the other side. Put my hook through. It doesn't have to be exact, but so you know, grab a couple of strands so that you've got all 4 on your hook, like this. Grab the same colour band and pull it through. Like that. Now I'm going to go underneath and do a slip knot like that, okay, and then I'm going to splay that open and wrap her hair inside it like a hairband for her, and it only has to be loose. It doesn't have to be a tight hairband. You can make it tight if you want, but I wouldn't. It's just to hold the hair around her wings like that. We've probably done it a little bit long, but or we've stretched it so we can pull it up a bit, that's fine too. But you get the gist of how I've done her hair. Now we're going to do some fancy footwork on the top of her hair in a minute, but I'm not ready for that just yet. We need to make her tutu. So in order, I'm going to sit her here. Just sit there, my dear. Alright, get your loom. Doesn't matter what configuration it is really, but I prefer it in standard configuration. To make her tutu, what we're going to do is start with 2 of the red, the same red that we use for her hair and shoes, and place them there. We're going to do 2 of the same that we did her bodysuit in, and another 2, the same as her bodysuit, and another 2 here on this peg, the middle peg. And then take one more band, put it through and wrap it once and twice. So these are all pairs, this is a single. Pop that on as an end cap, dig down, grab the 2 bottom bands and loop to the side. Loop up, loop up. Grab these ones that are in the middle column and place them on top of the ones on the right hand side. And then loop that last band up and take off your loom. Now that has formed, I like to call it a little leaf. We need for her tutu 6 of them. So pause the video and get back to me when you have 6 of them, because I already have my 6 here. Okay, so once you're back and we have 6 all together, okay, we're going to put these leaves together. I'm going to use 2 bands. I'm going to put one on my hook and one on the end of my hook like that. I'm going to move this one into the center and reclaim on my hook like that. Then I'm going to take the one closest to me up, over and off, and I can pull it into a slip knot. Now you can do that with 2 bands, you can do a double banded one if you want the added precaution for, you know, like an insurance policy in case it breaks. Pop it on the end of your holding hook that you have these 6 little leaves on, and one by one you're going to move your leaves onto those bands that we just tied together. Keep this band taut, because otherwise you will lose your leaves. Okay, reclaim the end on your hook like that and take the side closest to you, whoops, up and over and pull tight. You're going to splay that open and pop it over the closest leaf to you, which is this one, and there we have a little flower which is going to be her tutu. Okay, so all you do is spread it open, pop her little legs through, and wiggle it up her body, lift her hair out the way. Nobody likes hair getting caught in your tutu. And there we have her in her little tutu. Okay, now let's finish her hair because it's annoying me seeing this little tie off band here. What I'm going to do, she's got quite buffy hair on the top, so just like with Silver Mist, I'm going to grab a couple of bands here on the side, if I can. There we go. Hey. And I'm going to grab the 2 here. And I'm using the same colour as her hair, obviously. I'm going to use double bands. And this is sort of like a little crochet project. Put the 2 on your finger and drag them through those bands. Before you reclaim the end, go back and grab another bit of the hair above, okay, and put back on your hook, and then with another 2 you're going to drag back through so that you only have those 2 on your hook. You're going to do the same again. Take a few, you've got this side here, take another couple of bands on your hook, replace, find the end of your bands. I'm now going to use my tie-off bands this time. Instead of adding another 2, I'm going to use my tie-off bands and drag them through like this. I'm going to still hold on to this as if it's the end of mine, okay? Go through, reclaim the end of my bands, grab another 2, and this is just giving her a higher hairstyle. Go through a couple here. And it also stops the side of her head looking so bald. So grab 1 and 1 and pull it through. Now you can go down as low as you like. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to go down to here, and then I'm going to tie this off at the back of her head. So I'm going to pull that through, reclaim the end of my band, take the one closest to me, up, over and off, and I'm going to pull that tight. And then what I'm going to do is tuck this inside her hair. So I'm going to go through like that, grab those 2 bands and pull them inside her hair so that they're hidden at the back of her head. Okay, so that's how I've made her have a slightly higher hairstyle. Now, so there she is. There's Rosetta sitting there like a good little fairy. If we wanted to make her standing skirt, here's her standing, well, here's Silver Mist's standing skirt. We can make one for Rosetta as well. What we're going to need to do is make some more of those little leaves. Now this time with the little leaves, I actually did the cap, the end cap in the darker red and the next in red too. So I'll show you how I did that. Okay, and you know how to do leaves because we just made her tutu. Take 2 of the same as her dress and another 2, and then what I did, I put the 2 here like that, and then 2 of the dark red. So whereas before with the tutu we had the dark red up here so that it was darker red around the middle of her dress, in this case I'm doing the darker red at the bottom, and I'm going to make an end cap, wrap it once and twice, of the darker red as well. Now you need 8 of these. You're going to dig down, loop to the side, whoops, loop up. That doesn't matter that it came off because I'd already got it looped. Loop up, take these off and place back on that peg, and loop up. You need 8 of these, okay? So pause your video and get back to me when you have 8 of these little leaves done. I have 8 done, thankfully. I prepared myself. So I'm going to be using a standard loom to make my my frilly stand-up dress. You can use a monster tail. You can use the grow it up method with the other looms that don't come apart. But for me, I'm going to take this apart. And if you need tutorials, I have tutorials on how to do all of the different styles of skirts, standalone tutorials. Okay, you're going to pop this out like so, taking your leaves, you're going to pick your 8 pegs that you're putting these leaves on. Okay, so for me I'm going to do 1 here and 1 here, and I will do 1 here. Oops, come back here you. And 1 here. The thing you need to do is make sure they flip to the inside. Okay. Another one here. Let's put some stuff down. I've got my hands full. And another one here. Flip that onto the inside. Now you can see that's 1, 2, 3, 4 pegs. So next we have to go across here. One there. And one there. One here. And one here. One here. And one here. Flip it in. So that's 4 pegs. So our last one is going to go across here. One here and one here, and flip that in. Okay, so that is our first row. I do have a tutorial on how you can do these, but I will start this with you. So next we're going to do our second row in this colour as well, and we just place a single band all the way around. Push things down. On top of that you're going to add another row. Now I like to have a little post-it note, and I keep a tally on how many rows I've done, because I need 16, and this 15 or 16. You can get away with 15 with this design because of the frill, it makes it longer. So this is row 3. Alright, now I tend to use my Rainbow Loom hook for this. It's got a nice deep hook on it, and I find it captures these quite nicely. So moving the frill out the way, if you have a look, you've got quite a lot of bands on here. Take the first 2 up and over. Now normally we just take the bottom 2 up and over, but because we've got frills on, that's an extra pair of bands, an extra 2 pair of bands actually. So we want to be left with 4 on our peg. 1, 2, 3, 4. That means there's an extra pair of bands that need to come off, and they're the ones for the frill. So you're going to take 4 bands, the first 2 and then the second 2 off. Then you're just left with 4 bands on your peg. So first 2 and the second 2. As you slide it down, try and make sure that these bands are all in order, the order that you laid them. It's quite important. I mean, it's not going to ruin everything, but it would be nice if they were in order. First 2, second 2. I always want to turn it around, and it doesn't work that way. First 2, second 2. Push everything down. Make sure you're only doing 2 at a time. First 2, second 2, first 2, second 2, first 2, and second 2. Push everything down. As I said, that was row number 3. Let's do row number 4. Lay the bands on top, just a single band going all the way around. As I said, this is number 4. Now this time you're just going to take the bottom 2 and lift them over, so that again you're left with 4 bands on your peg. Push everything down. Pause the video and we will catch up when we are both at row number 16. Row number 16, you're going to lay the bands, and then my video will start again. So I will see you back at row number 16. So I have just laid row number 16. I'm going to dig down and take the last 2 bands, the bottom 2 bands off, and the next 2 bands, and the same all the way around, so that you're left with 2 bands on each peg, and that's all. Okay, 2 bands on each of the pegs. Here and 2 here. Now what we're going to do is grab a hook. I don't use my Rainbow Loom one for this because I just find this is a little bit short for this. So take 2 bands, place one on your hook and one in the actual hook part of your hook, and you're going to put the middle one on there, the one on your hook in the middle like that, reclaim the end and tie a slip knot. You can do it with 2 if you want the insurance policy of having 2, that's fine. Put those there ready. We're going to take this off the loom, so collect all of these double loops onto your hook. I put my thumb on the end one just because I know that it's being stretched quite a lot. And the last thing I want to happen is to lose some of these end bands. Stretch it out a bit, it kind of gives it a bit of a shape to it rather than making it look so squat. Now, taking the end of those 2 that we tie together, you're going to slide these loops onto those 2 bands that we tied together. Keep it nice and taut so that things do not get lost. Got one there that needs to come off. There we go. Pull it through. Now it does get a little tight. Okay, so make sure that it's pulled through, but don't lose the other end of your band. You're going to take one end over the other like that into a slip. It's not really a knot, it's just the slip. Put your hook under here, and you're going to hold the other end of the tie-off band. You're going to grab one side of it, pull it under and up, and then put the other one on top. You're going to move the one over like that and grab this one and pull, and you've made a knot. Okay, I have no idea what that knot is called, but it is a knot. Don't worry about this leftover loop of band, that is not going to matter. Grab a spoon and slide your skirt onto the spoon. This is the time where you can spread these out evenly around the spoon like that. Now, to put your little figure in, you're obviously going to have to take her tutu off. And you grab her little feet and stuff them inside the skirt, inside where the spoon is, where the gap there is, and you're going to stuff her all the way down so she looks like she's lying in that spoon bed, and you want it so that her waist is in there. It is easier to actually pull her up than it is to stuff her down, so push her in and then remove the spoon from the skirt like so. Push her in to your desired height. Now you can see the loop is at the back here. You can just leave it, or you can just poke your hook up the back of her skirt, grab that loop and pull it down and hide it. Sometimes I just go all the way up like that and hide it. This is what's going to make her stand. And there you have Rosetta, okay, with her little wings and her frilly skirt I hope you like her. There's her tutu if you want to change her into something else. So there we have Rosetta. Enjoy making her. Take care.